Good evening, Speed Gaming. I have three words for you tonight: master versus student. My name is the White Witch Lyra. With me tonight, the wonderful broadcaster, podcaster, Ray Fates Caleb. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Lyra. I'm having a little trouble hearing right now because I'm an old man too. So give me 1 second.
No problem. We have quite a show for you all tonight. Before we get started, I wanted to update you all on the records. This is a 1 and 2 tournament race, meaning the winner goes on to 2 and 2, guarantees himself at least some shot of actually making the brackets. The person that doesn't win this must win next week, or they're going to be hit in the showers, as it were. Before we go on, just to bring you all up here, MoistMogwai, the teacher of our community, we call her Mama Duck. She is the one that's actually in charge of helping all the new players with all the information related to this particular community. She, round 1, lost to Shadow Walker in a battle of friends, lost to Arson Horse in a pretty close race in week 2, and then the win over Magius week 3. While we had our wonderful Gregory Puff here, who lost to Canuck in the first round, lost to Lord Fizzlebeef in round 2, and then Captain Nerd win number 1. So both of them are riding that emotional adrenaline high. Any particular thoughts about this one, Caleb?
Hey, Lyra. Sorry, I finally think I got my audio sorted. I've been looking forward to this match since Sunday. Gregory Puff is one of those guys that I've enjoyed kind of seeing in the chat, watching him practice, and Mo, as the Mama Duck herself, has been super supportive of me coming into the community as like a duckling, and so I don't know who. I'm going to be torn either way when somebody has to win this race.
Any thoughts as to who's going to win tonight?
I'm not gonna do that. I want a good race. I'm gonna do my best to not commentary curse anybody. I just want to see them have fun and be a challenging seed that isn't too aggressively terrible.
Well, it is the name of the tournament, Sail on the High Seas. We're going to be seeing some high sailing action right here tonight. Someone's going to move on to at least the playoffs or a chance at it. One person's a struggle for survival, so I'm going to go ahead and get everything started.
Yeah, looks like we're off. So both runners just booking it right to the magic shop. So we got level 1 life 2, level 1 life. You know, folks are going to be excited about that.
So we got Bane in the Black Magic Shop there. What do you think about this magic? This is actually pretty generous in terms of healing spells, but not so much on...
Yeah, I mean, you got Bane. That should be good enough to take out Garland for sure and kind of help you clear through some of the early trash. The Thief hopefully lets you run a little bit, but Bane's definitely good enough for this.
We have a item check for weapons and armor, 48k on gold bracelets. I don't think we're going to be buying those any.
Yeah, that feels bad. But the I think it was like 8,900 for pro rings. That's pretty.
It's actually pretty decent. And we have Gregory who's going to be the first to enter the Temple of Fiends by the looks of it. Runs into some imps. Let's see what our adventure is coming.
Yeah, he's booking it. I think we should call it his party names. I'm big on party names, and nothing like Poop, Butt, Fart, and Mary to be your light warriors to save this realm.
That is pretty crazy, to be honest.
The heralded heroes of Poop, Butt, Fart, and Mary are here to light the orbs. Meanwhile, on Mo's side, we got the bottom left TOF chest and just a little bit of... While Gregory checks top right, or top left, and gets a silver dagger for his trouble.
Silver Dagger's actually not bad. It's a free piece of gear and it has enough attack to actually make the Garland fight a little.
Yeah, it's good for the thief to carry for the time being.
Momo's thief completely goes down to the spider.
And Garland takes out Poop. This is gonna be a fun race.
Garland with Cure 1 completely avoids the round 1 of Bane, so that's a reset.
Yeah, that's it's definitely one way to go about that. He gets his Poop back up. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be 14 years old with these party names on Gregory's side.
Oh,
And the
heaven.
poison smoke from the Poop Butt Fart group gets it.
Momo, the first one back to the town. We find the slab on the king, and the princess.
Yeah, so how would you route this? Would you go do the Matoya Provoca check, or would you just go right for Dwarf?
For me, I would head straight to Dwarf Cave. Don't want to really run too much out of the way with early progression the way it is, and not exactly having a means to fast travel.
Yeah, that's usually the camp that I line up in, but what I would probably do is set up a tent or a cabin right over the bridge. You kill that bridge boss, and then you book it over. If it's nothing, you reset out and you didn't lose that much time.
So both runners meeting back up in Coneri.
Especially with cabins under 100 gold. That's really good.
Momo choosing to leave her thief down. This is going to be interesting.
With these flags, I really like the early thief. It really helps with run.
We get a bridge cutscene from both runners.
Yeah.
Question in the chat, is Momo using the 3 pallet shuffle? That was a very good question. Not seeing any route divergence here so far. Both runners opting to go to Matoy.
Yeah, it looks like Gregory Puff's also using some sort of palette swap or something with his Light Warriors too. I'm not as familiar with the fun percent flag.
Silver bracelet and the opal armor. That's actually not too bad considering it's this.
Yeah, that's definitely something you can sell and get some money if like you find the vendor item in Old Provoca. Some quick cash. You might find the dragon armor. If not, you'll find something that opal armor doesn't need to be in game armor for.
Great Wolf's getting kind of angry there. Completely downs our poor red. So yeah, both runners opting to go over to go check Vanilla Provoca and see what happens out of this particular town. Now we're going to see something trolly like Lefane, or just...
Yeah, that would. I mean, if it's Lefane, then maybe Melmond is in Old Elfland, but Elfland is Provoca, so that's not a bad. But I would probably leave this hanging. I would check the item shop and I would leave it hanging because, yeah, and there's the floater. 50.
Momo found unrunnable iguanas. The Agamas are out to strike. You have Nuke, Ice 3, Lightning 2. Not bad for Black Magic.
Not at all. See, this is somewhere where, yeah, you fence that opal armor, and I would. It might not be a popular play, but I would go dive Marsh and hope for some solid treasure, and because you can get 58k with one chest if you're lucky.
Just Cure 2 and Soft and level 3 White. Level 4 White is loaded, however, with Exit and Wall.
Yeah, Wall's really good if you can't find a ribbon. I've run many of these like flags in practice and have so many times not ended up with a ribbon, and Wall has been a savior.
So also to share the level 4 Black Magic, there was Fire 3 and Temper there. That's interesting because you kind of want to save those temper charges. But
Yeah, that's still pretty good. I mean, they should get quite a bit of charges at level 4 by the end game, and if Mo picks that thief back up, that's 4 more free charges that she'll have for temp.
Greatly actually going to the Peninsula Power Grind.
And it's great that that first encounter that he finds is the 4 giants, because that's a huge gold fight. I remember playing the vanilla game. I used to farm the Hall of Giants and Earth Cave just to get gold.
Question in chat, Gregory having nuke charges yet? Doesn't look like it so far. We just started a couple moments.
Yeah, he should get them soon. I think level 3 charges start coming in around level 5, so they should be.
Speaking of ducklings, looks like we have a duckathon happening over on our sister station of Speed Gaming Portuguese.
Do you think Mo's going to go take the pop grind to get a little bit of money?
I think that's where she has to head at this point, because you definitely want a little bit more money to at least try to get floater early.
I was going to comment about how they're the route convergence, where they're just running together. If that's not a product of the duckling and the mama duck, that's her training being evidenced in Gregory's run here, because now she's going to do the pop.
For sure. We saw that the creeps actually had stun touch on them. That's a little bit concerning with only 3 light.
And definitely concerning kind of in the early game. I mean, I think it's good you kind of start getting that stuff out of the way, but that can quickly turn into a bad time for everybody if you just can't even get out of a fight.
Regularly making it back to Conaria just safe and sound. Still only 3 light warriors up, but the hotels are actually fairly cheap with only 600 gold. What a seed we have.
This is very camping friendly for sure.
Looks like Gregory's heading back towards Provoco slash Elf.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from with this, but like, you buy the floater, you still need the canoe, you still need the ship. I would go dive Marsh. I would dive Marsh, clear it out. You'll have nuke charges. Clear the top level, maybe get some cash, save, come back in, clear out that bottom, and get out of there. Especially because I think we even saw warp, so you can, I mean, get a couple more levels. But yeah, I would go dive Marsh. Hope that the progression there is floater. I'm sorry, the canoe or the boat, or maybe Old Elfland is Provoca, and Vicky's sitting there with the ship or the canoe.
So Gregory's showing the advanced level strats here of encounter manipulation in order to try and get encounters of 4 giants to maximize the value of this.
Absolutely, he did. I think he kind of was going a little too fast and accidentally reset out of one of them. But he likes the giants and doesn't like them.
There's a level 3 nuke charges. Gregory just smashes through the giants.
Yeah, and he picked up those houses, so at least he's not going to have to walk all the way back to get fresh spell charges on his folks, too. And those giants are right off the power cycle, so that's really great. I see what he's doing. He's resetting because he's getting ambushed. He wants turn order. There you go.
That seems pretty fair, especially since you have nuke availability. Now you want to just go ahead and not get blasted by.
Absolutely, and he's gonna pick up his spell charges pretty quick, and it'll make that Marsh play a lot quicker for him. But I don't know. I play a little aggressively, I guess, and I would probably be wiping in Marsh Cave while they're grinding and playing the safer strat of coming in with.
Momo's fighter takes a dive there too. This is an interesting situation.
Well, didn't we saw life 2 at level 1, so Nugget, the red mage, should be able to pick that fighter back. But does she not have houses?
No, she hasn't gone shopping for camping equipment yet, so there was only 1 cabin and she didn't want to actually throw down the heal being in the bottom slot for the item order, so...
Fair enough. It's going to be a little bit slower for her then. but it looks like she's heading back now, so that's good.
She does manage to get her fighter back up, so
Yeah,
leaving that poor thief down.
I agree with Asher in the chat. The downside of the pop grind is that you're grinding in place. You could be grinding levels as you're walking. There are even, I mean, there's spike tiles, and well, you don't have the key, but there's encounters that you be taking along the way that might get you some levels, not as quickly as the giant packs, but you could, Astos could be sitting on something could be buried in Marsh, and there's a whole town to check. So I don't like spending too much time on this grind right now.
So a bit of an unfortunate finding out for Momo. The regular wolves had squint and glare on them both.
Reminds me of those old cartoons with the wolves that were like, you know, like in The Mask, giving the female characters the.
I was gonna say the Wile E. Coyote, but I think we're both pretty on spot with that.
Or even Wile E. Burp and 5 Goes West. You gotta give them a lazy eye.
Gregory finding out that the Giants also has looks like stun touch on.
Yeah, that feels bad. I would abandon this pop grind and head south. Get out of here. You got a lot of money. I know he wants that floater, so he doesn't have to come back up here. But yeah, at the end of the day, like you're grinding in place.
Our wonderful tracker tonight, Nova, pointing out the crown turning into something that actually transports you around. It could be a very, very great power.
Absolutely. I mean, I do like the levels on Gregory already. He's already level 12. That's really great.
I think the disadvantage actually with leveling too far up in this particular stage of the game is once you hit about the 12 to 15 range is when you actually start losing easy spell slots for the fighter.
Yeah, but I mean, if he hits 15 now and doesn't promote, say, until he's like level 17, level 18, he's still gonna be able to get at least 3 charges on those spell slots. Like, there's no way he's not gonna be into Topher sub 23 if he's already level 15.
True, true. Momo actually stocking up a little bit on houses now since they're cheap. Saves up. Looks like we're gonna get ready to have some.
Yeah, if it looks like Momo's going to be heading left, so we'll actually get to see some fresh content in this game.
Not that our commentary isn't nice and fresh too, but
yeah. But there's those creeps with the stun touch, and she resets immediately.
Big old arachnid there, but we didn't see anything on that so far. Have money, and we have.
Yeah, the arachnids are one of my least favorite enemies in this game. The arachnids and the tarantulas, the green spiders. Like, yeah, they always roll something nasty for me in my practice.
Momo finding the loot off of the Great King Astos there, that's not something you want to see right now. It is required, but again, it's not.
I'd rather find it here than have to dig out like Earth 4 to find it. At least you have it. You know what I mean? Like, loot's one of those things that it can be locked behind anything, so I'm always grateful to find it in an easy turn.
Chat calling it's Marsh time. That is definitely the right case. Now, the big difference is here, Gregory is still grinding on the power play of Peninsulas, so there's going to be definitely a huge difference in leveling through.
And it looks like he's calling it quits, and he's finally heading back to Provoca or New Elfland, and he's going to be heading the way to get that crown turn in, get his loot, and I would imagine he would go straight to Marsh. I don't think he's going to go to the town first.
Speaking of going to the town first, Momo finds Lefane. That's a big strike.
Yeah, that hurts. You got the slab, but you have no idea where Melmond is.
So, Marsh dive it is. Required. So
And it
Gregory
seems,
chooses to return to Elfland to actually get some more items here.
well, he can. Yep, he got enough for his floater, so more power to him. I didn't think it was gonna pay off. I mean, it took him about 13 minutes to get that cash, but at least he's got it.
That is going to make all the difference.
Yeah, unless Mo opens the chest and finds 60k, we'll find out whether or not it was worth it.
So, unrunnable Redbone Bone Crawl here, so one of these three monsters, or this formation, is definitely going to be a little bit of a pain here. But they have the Bar Fire spell, which is a fire.
This is my least favorite pack to find in Marsh Cave. 100%. I hate that pack so much. Like, it always gives me trouble.
So there's 5k for Momo right there. 386, nothing special.
And Gregory's going to get his little bit of cash in the Dwarf Cave and be heading south. Probably find LaFane, but hopefully he'll just go straight to Marsh Cave.
There's the same formation for Momo there, pretty much right back to back.
Yeah, and she's running out of nuke charges. Hopefully these wizards aren't unrunnable.
Is there anything in this sea that doesn't have stun touch?
Wigglypuff gets his loot, and is probably going to quickly take down Astos, and there he goes.
Poison touch on the wizards, and they hit hard too. Down goes two of her characters before she's able to get the ship.
Well, there you go. And with the life 2 at level 1, Mo should be okay with getting out. Yep, she's going to put that thief at front and make Isaac do his work and run from everything.
More like run straight into the ground.
I try to be optimistic. I mean, it's a marsh cave. It's slippery down there. You can't help it if, slips and falls down and just get dragged around by the rest of your...
It's all the lichen and the moss on the floor. It makes for a slippery surface that's really hard to run away.
Absolutely. Those mucks and scums don't make it easy to get out of there. And the dead bodies you're constantly tripping. That are glancing. Oh no! And no soft potions.
Soft potions were actually pretty expensive at like 1k a pop, so that's why Momo didn't buy any.
Yeah, I never buy soft potions, but oh man, this could be a cautionary tale.
Momo down to one light warrior that's actually able to do anything. Chooses to opt for the nuke.
Yeah,
and she doesn't get torn orders, so down.
Oh no. Well, she's got the information. Just dive straight down and go get that ship.
That is actually the one advantage she has as Gregory passes right by her, is she knows what's in some of these boxes down here and not much here, so this might be a small time advantage if she can get it.
And on Gregory's side, we see his thief, Poop, has been turned to stone. There's a lot of jokes to be made about that.
I'm just gonna leave it at fossilized Pokemon manure and just drop it.
That's fair. And the scums with glare wipe out Emmett and have heat. Looks like
and too.
Oh no!
This has not been a run for Momo in this Marsh Cave, that's for...
Yeah, I think someone in chat kind of jinxed that early, so Mo, you can thank them for that.
Thanks, chat. We love you anyways, though.
Right. Oh, this is bad.
Wizards having poison touch, not that much for Gregory with the boosted levels there and the extra spells.
And
That's level 15.
Yeah, that's wild. So he'll get his, if he gets out of here, he'll get his airship right around probably like the 23-minute mark, 23, 24. So I'm pretty sure he should have exit charges by now. And he's gonna continue to check those chests.
Find the gargoyles for the first time. It looks like they're just interested in being Disney cartoons.
I could be mistaken, but I thought for sure Gregory would have an exit charge on his red mage by now. At level 15, I would imagine he should have at least one level 4 spell slot.
Down goes a couple more Molos fighters. You can have fun with that one all night and day, Chad. I'm not touching that.
He didn't buy exit. He couldn't afford it. That sucks. That's a bummer.
There was definitely a lot of starved money here at the very beginning of this. Oh, the scum has sleep too.
Yeah, the scums are a bad time. But Gregory walks it out, so he'll be getting in the air very soon. As Will Cleosis likes to say, he's going to be changing the status quo.
We are definitely joined by some of the people that were in the quad earlier. Welcome to all of you. I hope you've enjoyed our wonderful adventure here tonight. 23 minutes. Momo's having a real big hard time with Marsh Cave, and Gregory chose to do a pencil up an hour grind. It's definitely paid off.
Absolutely. I think there's often talk when I watch back races and VODs where people, different runners, different people in the community take a stand against the stationary grinds, and I usually agree with those people, but Gregory proving to be the exception, if not the rule, for this seed for that stationary grind actually paying off.
Our wonderful student here tonight taking a huge lead over the teacher as Momo's definitely run into those scum again recently.
Yeah, this just feels bad if you're Mo. It's 24 minutes in, you're slamming your head against Marsh. You know the floater was available, you know the ship's there. You just gotta hope that your opponent is seeing the same Marsh that you are. And Gregory was, but he actually had the levels from the pop grind to get through it.
Gregory finding Vanilla Melman here.
That tends to be the case. There's always at least one city, it seems like, that isn't shuffled in these flag sets.
So something that the newer folks in the community might not know is we have what's called the Zozo Melman flags here, where if you step on a desert tile inside the actual town of Melmond, you are definitely likely to run into actual random encounters in here, and most of them are undead. You might even see the actual vampire in here.
Yep, Zozo being one of the famous towns from Final Fantasy VI, where there were random encounters within the town, is where that name comes from.
Down goes the fighter from Momo there. Gregory sailing the high seas. Where are we going to go next? I think the only place to go get the actual floater at this.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. It's actually faster to sail west and wrap around the map, but I think he's gonna go right or map right and pop into Lefane on his way. Now that he's got that translated slab, I like the routing. It's a little bit longer, but he gets that check on the way if he remembers to check Old Elf.
Have pirates here, and looks like they're going down to the nuke blast. Gregory taking every little bit of XP in the way. That's something that's definitely proven to be the X factor here, as it were.
So it looks like Gregory just blew right past Elfland. I guess he's gonna just fly back, which is just as quick. So
there we go. Gregory is checking out Crescent Lake now, which is the town of On.
That's nice because when you finally get the Oxiale, you'll be able to knock out both Volcano and Sea Shrine in one continent. I like that personally. And you got Ice Cave right here. That's 3 places you can clear, all right on top of each other.
That is the big play here. Gregory's gonna go back to Lefane and turn in that translated slab. You put
Yeah, this could be huge if it's the tail, because then you can promote and start getting those spell charges.
it's the canoe instead, though, so we definitely have some more needed progression here, since we have to worry about ordeals. Not so much Ice Cave now, though, with the canoe.
Yeah, I wonder if I'm sure he'll do a couple checks and come back to Old Provoca and buy those exits and all those other level 3 and 4 magics for his black and red mage.
And here we have our first look at Sarda the Sage here, who has the wonderful healing herb. Quick check back to Elfland Castle here for Gregory Possum.
Yeah, that feels a little bad considering you're just there, but it's a little back and forth, but not much you can do about it. But blink and you missed it. Momo gets out of Marsh with her ship, and she is headed to Elfland, which is Lefane.
Speed Gaming 3 joining us in from that big race. The wonderful Elf Prince had the Oxy Ale. That's really interesting, actually. Now we have that Sea Shrine.
You think something's going to be hidden on the mermaids over there?
Something you always love to see is the actual play of the wonderful mermaid lady.
More often than not lately, I'm finding the mermaids and the first few floors of Earth Cave have been stacked with gear and helpful items. So I'm wondering if either of our runners will actually check those locations.
So level 6 magic shop check there. There was Warp in slot 4 and looked like Rub in slot. Confused too.
Nice. So this was the Vanilla Gaia location, right? I was looking down at my notebook.
That is correct. And there is also Harm 4 there in slot 6 for white magics. That's probably the best you're going to find out.
And literally the last old man has the bottle. But we haven't seen Gaia to turn that bottle in yet. And Gaia's either going to be Lefane or Onrak.
So Momo actually got out of Ice Cave, or Marsh Cave.
Yep. And whichever one isn't Gaia is going to be Provoca. So we'll get our last 2 town checks, I would imagine, and then I would imagine Gregory will start clearing incentivized locations like Ordeals, Waterfall, and start racking up those key items.
Now, I don't believe either runner has actually checked the level 5 magic here, so let's see if Momo actually clues us in on what... Unrunnable Pirates, that's what's in here.
Some more microwave pirates coming up.
Zombles and troll encounters. Gregory chooses to take it and blast them with noon. Looks like they just hit hard though, nothing here.
It looks like Gregory is going to be keeping his thief stoned. I don't know if he'll ever bring him back up, but it's a lot cheaper than a life chart.
That is true. I did see Ruse and Invis too by the looks of it over on Momo's side for a little. Ice 2, Slow 2, Lock for Black Magic. Level 5 Magic is important.
Yeah, that's not the best.
And Lefane is Gaia.
So Gregory pops his bottle, and we're gonna go see what that is. And there's Mo with the Earth Guy. The Earth. No rod. Friends don't let friends dive Earth, Mo. What are you doing? I like the gamble though. It's something you got to do because this could change the game right here.
Yes, indeed, depending on what's in this wonderful cave of soil.
Yeah, if she digs up the cube or TNT that leads the cube, anything like that, and Gregory decides to full clear any other Fiend dungeon before coming here, that could be
Correctly finding the crystal there and the old Lefane / Gaia look. We're gonna see what the Earth Cave has for Momo here. And it's a load of snakes. Unsurprisingly, they have poison touch.
Gregley's nuking his steak over there.
Once you nuke steak, it doesn't taste all that good. It gets too tough.
It gets a little chewy, but hey, it's food. It's enough to feed the troops.
If you eat experience points, which I guess you do. Cobras have slow, though. Someone called G.I. Joe.
That's pretty good. I haven't heard that one yet.
Finding a heal potion, 1400. She actually chooses to walk this one out. Or maybe she's just checking the bottom before.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of runners do this. They'll just check both of these bottom rooms in one sweep. If this room has nothing, she'll reset out and probably go down to Earth 2. I don't see her going all the way down to Earth 3, though, but she could prove me wrong. As Gregley heads for the Temple of Ordeals with his party comp, this should be no problem. He should be in and out of there in about 5 minutes.
I would say she's probably looking for money at this.
That's true. This wouldn't be a bad play to go to that Hall of Giants and start hitting those spike tiles with the Giants and the Iguanas and just start racking in the money there. Walk out, house it up, come back in. Like it's a little more consistent than that pop grind. You know what you're going to get every.
That is true. That's actually a play that most people in the randomizer community don't do, and I actually enjoy that. That's really...
Watching my dad grind those Giants. That's a weird sentence to say out loud.
Well, they might be giants, and they actually play music pretty well.
Yeah, it was I would watch my dad play this game as a kid, and he would grind levels in the Hall of Giants. That's where that game knowledge comes from for me. But Mo does.
There's the unrunnable iguanas from earlier too, as Gregley is going through the pillars and trying to look for the correct way.
Yeah, without warp, this can be kind of a pain, but he's doing it.
With how cheap houses were, this is definitely a potential grind spot for Momo for staying for a little while.
Yeah, it'll definitely get her that 58k pretty quickly.
Using up a little bit of heal potions here. 34 minutes in, you want to go ahead with a recap?
Sure. So according to my notes, King had the slab, Princess had the crown, Provoca's had the vendor item, which was the floater for 58k, Astos, the crown from the Princess, turned into the loot, which is kind of, maybe Astos stole it from the Princess Sarah, because, Vanilla, she has the loot. Lefane was in Elfland, and the turn in there with the translated slab was the canoe. Sarda had the herb. Elf Prince had the oxyale. The sages in Gaia, which is where Crescent Lake is now, had the bottles. The bottle will turn into the crystal, and we haven't seen the crystal turn in yet. I think that's everything.
Very nice. Gregley actually turning into mummies and whiz mummies who have poison touch. Not too much there by the looks of this.
And Elfland was in Provoca, and Melmond was vanilla. Onrak was in original Crescent Lake. We haven't seen the vanilla Onrak location yet, but we know it's Provoca.
Level 2 magic being locked away pretty darn far compared to that, since you need either the ship or the canoe and airship in order to...
Yep, and it'll be a nice check though, because they'll get that and they can route in Waterfall with it. And Gregley's through the pillar maze and checking chests, which I think he's just found some gold. I don't think anything too worthwhile.
Apocalypse ponies being blasted back to the Stone Age for Gregley. 7,400 is actually a pretty decent chest with 4 gold right next to it. That's a nice.
Ordeals is required as we find the chime, but nothing else in there, so. I wonder if Gregory's gonna burn all of his nuke chart. Nope. Yes, as I'm saying it, he's walking out. Never.
Since they weren't particularly tanky, would you think that's actually a smarter play just to sit there and completely use off your charges, just use a houses?
Yeah, that's what I've seen a lot of runners do. I like the play, but maybe he's afraid of grinding up too many levels because he still hasn't promoted yet. We haven't found that.
We're running out of places to where that particular tail would possibly be only 6 more of the original NPCs, and they'll have to start looking for either Ice Cave or...
Yep. I wonder if he's going to go check Waterfall and Provoca next.
Gregory taking a moment to go buy Warp for 20k. I think that was actually a really strong play too.
Yeah, I think if he should have the at least one level 6 charge on his Black Mage. Maybe no, he doesn't have a charge yet, but it does set him up to run Ice and Waterfall pretty quickly.
Choosing to take an armor break there, buying a silver bracelet. That's actually some pretty nice evasion, way more than the copper will actually provide for you, and it's definitely better.
And Mo looks like she's finished with her giant grind, and she's headed down into the 2nd level of the Earth.
See where Gregory heads off to. I would guess maybe the bottle vendor, even though it would just be an item shop.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing the Waterfall Provoca check, which is a smart play for sure.
Finally getting access to level 2 magic will be a huge benefit to Gregory.
Yep, and especially because he can check this off of his map after he checks Provoca and the Waterfall. This continent doesn't exist to him anymore.
Silver hammer, silver axe, house for Momo, nothing in that room.
Level 2 Black Magic has Saber, which again makes me want to pick that thief. As level 2 White Magic holds Fade and Heal 3, both super awesome to find at such low.
Now, to go on further about that, if you were planning on maybe bringing the thief back later and doing some spell charges as a class promote, this would definitely be a check to come back and do, but I'm not sure if Gregory really has that in mind anymore. These red and black mages might just be a...
Yeah, I agree. He's probably not going to come back all the way out here for that. Vicky has the Adamant.
When you're sitting at 1 and 2 like this, you have to make the decent plays, and Gregory is definitely coming up mill.
Yeah, we'll see if this Earth dive pays off for Mo. Flame Armor's nice.
Where Sword's a better upgrade to what she had before, so it's decent for early.
Yeah. It's not great, but Flame Armor's nice. As Gregory comes into the Waterfall about 10 levels too high for my liking.
As we remember your play in week 1 of that level 5 waterfall dive.
I almost made it.
It was quite the daring play from our wonderful ducklings, as this particular season has put out quite a few powerful runners, and I'm like super excited to see where the rest of the community goes going forward.
Yeah, I'm terrified of any of the larger play-in races that we have coming up in the later weeks for the runners that are 2 and 3 in about a week and a half. All of the 2 and 3 runners will be racing against each other for a spot in the play-in race. And that play-in race is going to feature all the 3 and 2 runners and the winner of that last chance qualifier. And they're going to be all racing against each other at the same time, trying to get into the brackets. And that I'm so much anxiety. And I'm not even anywhere close to being in any of those races yet, and it's terrifying.
The mummies had thunder, by the way. Just to point out there, for the actual time that you would be able to see those wonderful play-in races, because I'm sure we'll probably have a special for them, please stay tuned to our Discord. The links will be in the chat for you, and we would love to have you all for this. And you can also check out the speed gaming schedule for that particular update and time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just know right now they just have the days targeted. The times aren't. Oh, and the robot has the. So yeah, more than likely, probably could have skipped the waterfall this season.
Might be a potential time save for Momo if she chooses to skip that, but considering she's still hunting money for that floater, I would skip as little as possible.
And that bat is just a walking metaphor for what Mo's seed has been for her, just in her way, just struggling again.
And we know she doesn't have actual warp, so this is going to be a long walk out of Earthgate.
Yeah, unless you cross your fingers, you hope for that 1 in 256 chance, or however many chests there are, that the rod is behind the vamp.
Looks like our wonderful Titan is actually getting a lunch, so that's really fortunate that we choose to feed our wonderful community.
It's important, man. Titans need to eat too.
16k is actually not that bad. I would have at least warped out with that.
I mean,
Apparently he's probably loaded the money though.
You feed the Titan, you raid his chest, take all of his money and his tablecloth, and you don't even have the courtesy to.
Blacksmith having a ribbon here, definitely not required, but always nice to see as it protects you from a whole lot of.
Yep, and that means that entire northwest continent can essentially be skipped, unless you want that level 2 magic.
So Momo finding a little bit more money, but she did have the exit spell, thank goodness for that, as she chooses to go back to the actual Hollow Giant.
Yep, and Gregory finds the crystal, finds the rod behind the crystal. So he lets Matoya get her vision back, and then he steals her cane. It's unfortunate.
She'll get it back after we're done with it. We don't want to leave her without some way to walk around. That would be unbecoming of Greg. There's the exit pickup for Gregory. Looks like the wall was possibly.
Fourth slot is locked behind Red Mage. He'll have to promote in order to pick that up.
Ah, thank you. Also, level 4 Black Magic for that Fire 3 Temper loading.
And now, if you're Gregory, you found the 2 non-incentive items. You know that you have to go to ice, and that's exactly where he.
Time to make the plays here. Trying to manipulate the step counter a little bit for our encounters. Now, in here, you have plenty of spell charges. This is something I would personally normally do with a light axe or a mage staff, just to make the clearing out a little bit easier and conserve resources, but Gregory going all in, I can definitely appreciate the initiative on this one.
Yeah, we also haven't seen any of the caster items like that, so you're kind of forced to burn your spell charges or run in these. But we do know that ice has to hold the cube, the key, the tail, or the TNT, which would lead to one of those 3.
Naturally, the trolley thing in that particular item list would be the TNT, because it would just run all the way back for potentially, hopefully the key, so you can just access the treasure room right next to it, but could be a total.
Yeah, if it's TNT to tail though, like that would feel bad to have loose cube and loose key. Especially if key is somewhere like Mirage in the greater than less than room, and the cube is like Marsh key locked.
Which we just actually found the cube right there in Ice Cave, so no need to worry about it.
But that just gives us about 18 more chests where that key could be hiding now.
Blast out the Fade, blasting with Holy Magic, the light banishes the undead back to the darkness as we get a wonderful treasure floor check.
Yep, so that basically confirms that our loose key items will be TNT, which leads to the tail or key, and the other being loose.
Momo encountering the Great Tiger Uppercut as Gregory chooses to go on to the treasure room. I'm gonna go down to check the 6 chests here. You can check 3 of them without a forced tile encounter, but for all 6, you definitely need to take it.
Yeah, I never do the 3 and then come back and check the 3 in the middle. I would just walk down them.
Just an Opal Gauntlet and some money and some random junk. Gregory's striking out with that one.
Yep, and he's only got 5 more chests left to check in ice, but the cube definitely makes it worth his while to come.
Now that we have the cube and chime, we can go to access Sky Palace and start getting some progression.
Yep, it would have been a huge bummer for him to come in here and find the TNT that leads to tail, or even just the straight tail, because that would have been another incentivized location that he didn't need to check. So if you're Gregory and you did that early pop grind, do you feel behind after that standing grind, or do you feel good about your time?
I would feel, considering at the pace that Gregory is going and just blasting through the other dungeons. There's a second ribbon right there in Ice Cave. I would feel like if I was behind, it wouldn't be by much, and I would definitely start feeling pretty confident about myself.
And it looks like he's going to go clear out the volcano. I would imagine right after this, he would go clear out Sea Shrine, since it's right there in Old Crescent Lake, and then probably fly up, do Sky, and then come back and do her.
I didn't catch was the last couple checks on that floor. Maybe Gregory skipped them.
He didn't skip them. They were nothing. I'm sorry. I think it was just gold and like maybe some camping gear and a potion.
Ah, gotcha. Gregory choosing to go into the volcano now. Gonna go ahead and check the first couple of rooms, but taking the long hallways. This is something I haven't seen a lot of runners do this tournament, unless they absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like he's found a good spot in the encounter table to kind of make these checks. So he's doing, veteran moves, as they would say, manipulating that encounter. Asher, he does not have the key. We know that the TNT is loose, and that will lead to either the key or the tail, and the other one also being loose, because we haven't found a single loose item.
That is definitely true. 14k, Gregory's finding all the big money chests right here, as we find the Cousins of the Apocalypse ponies.
Of course, the ultimate troll would be, because the TNT check is on that inner sea area, he could turn in the TNT for a cabin, as either the canal or the bridge could have been shuffled to Narek the Dwarf. But we don't want to see that happen, because then that would mean there would be 3 loose items.
Speaking of loose items, there's the first one. That's the TNT in the Volcano Armory, 2nd floor. As Momo actually has bought her floater, she's roughly about 25 minutes behind on that, but she's finally going to be in the air.
Yeah, depending on how she routes her next few check-ins, she could catch up pretty quick, because we know that she can skip Waterfall and Bicky, so if she skips that, depending on how she gambles, she could start to catch.
So one of the things we haven't seen here is she actually goes to check for the startup play, which was the medicinal healing herb. It was The Great Bahamut Isles have not been checked yet, so that's something, even though you don't have the tail, you can definitely get some free item checks right there.
Yep, and Gregory nopes out of Volcano after getting the TNT, and is just immediately going to go check it and see if what it'll turn into. And it's the tail. So that means we have a loose key. The only upside to that being we won't have. This isn't a key lock Marsh required Steve. And we get our first look at Cardia Islands and the Cardia Swamp. In these 3 chests, what do we find?
Speaking of the Bahamut Isles, we find a coral sword there. Not much, so Gregory just chooses to go straight off of that.
Yeah, coral sword is far from a good sword. It's an okay sword for the early game.
Pro Ring Dragon Sword. The robot will be summoned this particular adventure, which will be the fans' delight in that one. Momo gets her Oxy.
Flame Shield's a decent pickup. Start getting that elemental resistance, even though he's rocking the ribbon. Still decent defense, or absorb rather.
Always helps to stock up as much as you possibly can on your fighter, which is generally the workhorse of your particular party normally. Unless you're rolling some sort of thief or black belt, in which case I applaud your bro.
Yep, I know about those thief strats. They can feel good, but most of the times they feel bad. And Mo goes into the volcano, so she's going to find her TNT just a few minutes after Gregory did, so that's nice. That she'll get her tail and be able to get promoted faster than Gregory did. So she'll have full spell charges on her knight for sure.
She's catching up very quickly. The experience starting to pay off with the wonderful check of a Fiend dungeon. Even if you're not going all the way down, you can definitely find a good load of stuff.
I have to think she'll full clear this. She won't want to double dip it. She probably feels behind, and yeah, I can't see her leaving and checking and coming back because it's such a. It doesn't feel that long, but it's in my mind, if I'm behind, leaving the volcano to go all the way back to the dwarf cave just to come back here, it's. Yeah.
So Momo found the Sun Sword right there in the armory as well. That was actually a really strong pickup, as it's definitely one of the upper echelon of weaponry.
Yep, that's actually one of the best swords you can get before you start getting into the Massa and Vorpal territory. Or Excal. I know you're not a fan, but it has its purpose.
It does have purposes. It is something that will definitely beat Chaos, which is the ultimate goal of the game, and I give it respect for that. That's the respect that I'll...
That's fair. That's fair.
So Momo, you are indeed correct. She has chosen to go ahead and finish up the rest of Volcano, even though the coming back to the armory and skipping the long hallway chest was definitely the right...
Gregory finds another decent sword with the ice sword, and he gets that mage. Which
So
I guess it could help in Earth, but yeah, it's a little too late for the mage stick to have any relevance.
Interestingly enough, Gregory has chosen to take the time to menu the ice sword onto the thief, which means that he's likely to probably start making that in the Topher Temple of Fiends Revisited experience power play right at the end there by unstoning the actual...
Yeah, his ninja poop is gonna gain levels pretty quickly.
As we see Momo take on the Red Hydra.
Yep, and she's now in this Volcano 5, where the last few remaining chests are. And this is another place where quality items are often hidden off the beaten paths. That'll be huge.
There's the loose key.
Oh man, everything's coming up, Gregley.
The white shirt, too, in the greater than less than room. This is actually a really loaded dungeon for Gregley.
Yeah, you have to feel good after that greater than less than room. I'm surprised he didn't stay just to clear out Mirage and Sky, but he's effectively in go mode now at the 56 minute.
I'm taking a moment. She actually found the defense sword in here as well. That's actually a really valuable.
I see. Gregley left to start buying magic, so we'll see if he goes back up to Provoca, which is an on-rack, and picks up Saber.
Also looks like Gregley is going for the gold bracelets that were super expensive earlier on. Not so much now.
Yeah, you'll be able to kind of beef up those mages, get them a little bit more absorb, and make them a little healthier without having to check chest and hope for the opal bracelet.
As we welcome Lord Fizzlebeef to the room, who just finished his race earlier tonight. Welcome to what's been quite an interesting adventure at the 1 hour mark almost. I'm surprised we didn't see any Agam effects.
Yeah, there's no love for the Agamas. And Mo just nopes right out of the fight, doesn't even take it.
Unrunnable red dragons, though, she has to take that.
And for a second I thought Gregley was gonna buy my favorite piece of armor, the base. But it looked like it was just a miss menu. It's got 2 absorb. Something.
Just like the Mr. Baseball cap gives you 6 absorb, right?
Right. And in a twist of irony, in the red dragon chest, which is vanilla flame armor, if I remember right, Mo finds the ice one.
All nice and melted suit of armor right there. Gregley actually checking the dwarf cave. Finds 11k silver shield, heal potions. Another 4k, money.
Yeah, he's got to be looking for that in-game sword. The sun sword could get it done, but it's not the sword you want to be swinging.
I'll give you an Agama fact right here. Agama indeed do taste like Kentucky Fried Chicken once you boil them in a volcano.
It's just smoked meat at that point. And we got Jeffy78 in chat saying Lord Fizzlebeef should be Lord Sizzlebeef. Maybe he's Team Tyro too. Or Team Steak rather, my bad.
Speaking of delicious fiends here, we actually have Momo pulling our first fiend at about an hour, and it's the Mistress of Fire.
Absolutely. Let's see what Carry 1 is hiding.
Some fair amount of evade, actually, as the fighter, or excuse me, the ninja actually misses and then goes down from this actual return.
Yeah, Isaac just got punched in the mouth by Carry, and Isaac's eating dirty. Huge hit from Emmett. And yeah, Carrie can't be long for this world.
What is a carry? A miserable pile of EXP.
And a miserable dead pile of EXP as Nuggets nuke takes her. And at the 1 hour mark, 1 hour even, we got MoistMogwai lighting our first orb.
The power of the orbs has driven her straight to the dwarf cave to go turn in that TNT.
Yep, so while Gregley's been in go mode for about 3 or 4 minutes now, MoistMogwai has the orb lead, but it's just a matter of time before Gregley starts breaking through those Fiend done.
So there's the power bonk right there in Elfland Treasure Room. That's something that not many people tend to check normally as well. Behind
Yeah, that makes that sun sword a little more viable.
So Lord Sizzlebeef right there in the chat has asked us for a recap. Do you want to do this one, Caleb?
Sure, I can do this again. So the king led to Slab. The princess stole Astos' crown, because Astos stole her loot. And in Provoca, we found the vendor item, which was the floater for 58k. In Old Elfland, we found New Lefane, and the Lupa Lupas had the canoe. Sarda was hiding the herb. The Elf Prince had the Oxyale. The sages in Crescent Lake, which was in Gaia, had the bottle, which turned into the crystal, which turned into the rod. Ordeals was hiding the chime. Bicky and his pirate gang were hiding out in New Onrak, in Onrak, which is New Provoca, and he had the adamant, which turned into the incentivized ribbon. The robot in the waterfall held the ruby. The Titan's Trove was basically just cash and cloth. And the ice cave had the cube, as well as our second ribbon. In the volcano, we found loose TNT in the armory, which turned into the tail. And Mirage held the key and the white shirt in the greater than less than room. And in the volcano, we also found the defense sword. And the Elfland armory had the power bonk, which we just found.
So, interesting facts here. Gregley has chosen to unpetrify the ninja and is actually starting to gain levels.
Yep, I think he unpetrified him when he went into Mirage. I remember Poop being up when he was in Mirage, but yeah, I don't think he took too many levels. And Gregley, he's still searching for that in-game sword. He's not confident in his Sun Sword power bonk tempered up to get the...
Also something to add on to the recap there, Caleb. Gregley had about, I believe it was close to about 25-minute lead on having the floater to Momo, but Momo was actually the first one to get an orb going. She's definitely on the right track, and there's not much more before...
Yep, and in order to get that 58k for the floater fizzle, Gregley spent about 15 minutes grinding on the Peninsula Power, while MoistMogwai was spending that time just running and banging her head into the Marsh Cave to no avail, because by the time she got out of Marsh Cave, Gregley had finished his grind, burned through Marsh with all of his nuke charges, and got out and was airborne. So Marsh Cave has just not been Mo's friend this tournament, it seems.
Hey Caleb, what's that?
Is it a dead guy? The menu.
Is it? I didn't see anything.
Yeah, it's just like a blue blip.
Speed bump is another reference for it, indeed, yes.
Is Gregley going to check these chests on Earth 4?
Something we haven't actually seen yet in this particular run, but skips the top chest room. He
Yeah,
might
I have
be
to
feeling
think.
a little bit behind.
Yeah, I have to think he's just checking the chests that are along the way, and he's going to skip these.
With both loose items out of the way, it's definitely time to start motoring up.
And so, fun fact, because Mo got the tail before she came to the continent with Onrak and Waterfall, she's actually going to get these spell charges on her Knight and Ninja, and actually have the spells for them. So that's really nice, because those are resources that she'll have that Gregley Puff likely won't, and that might make all the difference in Topher. Because who doesn't love a knight with Fade?
It is indeed a knight in shining armor, as unfortunately Lamp has not been.
Lamp I thought was level 1.
I don't think either runner picked it up, sadly.
Well, maybe that's why Marsh Cave was terrible for you.
It wasn't a very bright move for that.
One would call it dim.
Speaking of things that are no longer dim, the bright light of the nuke spell has completely shown our pirates the way up.
More microwave pirates as Gregory takes on the sparkly Pop-Tart, which is Lich, and Lich takes out Poop.
Punching bag
Poop.
goes down in one round.
And Gregory Puff has his first orblet, and it is the Earth Orb, which is vanilla. Is this even randomized?
It is, because we've already seen Thunder outside of the Temple of Fiends.
That's fair. And now it looks like Gregory, is he going C or is he going back to the volcano? He's just burning through this right now. He's back and he's going to go into volcano. I imagine he's just going to go mode.
That was an excellent one, by the way. If Gregory does actually choose to go mode this and completely skip through everything, you're gonna miss out on the defense sword, though. That's actually a pretty huge...
Yeah, we did see him come in here and obviously check the second floor in the armory, and that's where he's got the TNT from, but I don't know how many of these chests he's going to check. I don't see him checking the ones that are too far out of the way.
Mama actually in Crescent Lake doing some shopping here. Now, ironically enough, speaking of things that may or may not be randomized, the Wizard Mummies were the ones that had Thunder. Ironically, last night they also did too when I did that race. So, Thunder, I bring the lightning and the pain of...
Look at that. All three of those... MoistMogwai finds the welcoming committee and from the old man and gets the Oxyale... gets the bottle on her first try, where Gregory had to walk around, and it was literally the last old man that he talked to had that bottle. So
thankfully, so.
Yeah, the old men and the Parker are on Team Mo, so that's always encouraging.
Gregory indeed skipping the defense. Sorry about let's.
I have never seen the NPCs shuffle that way, and so all three take a step forward and just block the path into the park before. That's pretty awesome.
Thankfully, we didn't get walled off. We would have taken Gregory to a trip down to Walmart.
Ha!
Momo checking out the level 7 magic. Quad X there. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, that feels bad. I like Quad X. Is Gregory gonna check the red D chest and get his ice armor? It would be great for his nip.
It's one way to keep yourself cool off in this volcano, but no, Gregory is way too invested in catching up and going, so skips the ice armor, skips the defense sword. We've definitely got a shift here in the actual item pool.
Yep, and Gregory's getting ready to pull carry 1, which we know isn't hiding.
Momo finds a friend, resets out of it. She likes her friend.
Carrie throws some ink in our party's face and into Gregory's face, and Mary tempers up her butt, and now it looks like Fart and Mary are going to continue to make butt tempered. This is too good. I love Gregory's party.
Gregory's party is indeed a wonderful collaboration of...
Gregory's Buns of Steel are going to take it down, though, for sure.
As Gregory finishes the volcano off pretty quickly, gets the second orb.
Oh, Fizzle, my face is far from straight. I'm burning like an idiot.
At least you're gonna admit it, as we find the wonderful Cake and Stun spells in Onrak. Harm 2, nothing else special there. But
It's-
Cake is a powerful spell.
It is a shame that the anti-mute spell was not purchased for Fart. That would have been amazing. And would
As
have fit.
Gregley takes the first look in the Sea Shrine.
It would have fit the headcanon I have for Gregley's party, which he walks away from. The gold bracelet, he's going to go back.
Unrunnable San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I don't like that because I've seen these things too many times roll over 500 HP, and it just sucks to have to fight them because it's an encounter you're going to see a lot.
Yes, indeed, as we run into some wonderful, almost nachos. It's the nacho cousins.
Well, they're not my cousins.
You wouldn't want to be related to a bowl of nachos, but they're delicious.
Who eats nachos out of a bowl?
You'd be surprised as Momo goes into ordeals and starts making her way through the maze. Gregley has chosen to go the Kraken route instead of going.
Yeah, I don't see him going to the mermaids. He wants that in-game sword, but they have been eluding us this whole seed, so.
Maybe seeing our wonderful Wote special here as the Sun Sword and Power Bomb play is probably what Gregley is going to be thinking about. It's not actually a bad play at all. It's definitely a pretty high-end sword, so he's got to be feeling confident.
I can see him. He's going to check the two coming up, these two chests here, and he's going to check probably Sharknado room, but I don't see him going past the spike tile. Especially considering the Gur Sharks were unrunnable.
We already found a replacement walking stick from a toy.
And Fizzle Fast was level 1, so we definitely have access to Fast. And we get another Ice Sword, so that's something for Poop to throw around.
Actually, Ice Sword's already on the ninja, so I think that would go on the red mage.
Yeah, I wish that ninjas could dual wield in this game. It would make so much more sense.
I guess they don't do it because we don't believe.
But they do have little bitty hands if you look at their sprites, so maybe it would be hard for them.
It's the ninja's fault for wearing a red jumpsuit and not an orange one, as Momo goes and makes her way through the maze and goes up to the floor where the wonderful required.
Yep, she's not going to find much up here but the chime, but she's going to check those chests anyway and get a little bit of gold for her trouble. As Gregley is pulling our fancy boy Kraken with his little cape, we're going to find out how squishy he is.
Youch, seafood too.
Ooh, butt just got punched in the face.
The knight indeed does take a strong hit to the face for the first round. Kraken punching pretty, but going down just as quickly.
And Butt strikes back and cuts down the squid. Momo's got her chime, and I would imagine she's just going to exit out of here. I don't even see her just step on that spike. She proved me wrong.
She's interested in next week. It's actually a decent play here, since zombie dragons are pretty powerful in the XP department. 1785 apiece without encounters.
Yeah, so at about the hour 15 mark, Gregley's got his third orblet. He's doing some last minute shopping, and he's going to fly down, go to Mirage. He's already checked the first 2 floors. I think I don't even know, maybe he checks the greed chest. I don't see him checking too much in the sky.
We saw Mirage was pretty loaded, so maybe Sky has a little bit more in the endgame part, but we're about to find out as Gregley is indeed head.
And the rare Sori encounter for Mo. That's got to be good luck. Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of nastiness on our trash mobs throughout this game, so we haven't seen Death Touch, we haven't seen a Cure 4, so Topher could be a roadblock for Gregory without an in-game sword. I mean, it's not like Momo has one yet either, but it's still anybody's race for sure.
Honestly, I've seen plenty of runners actually take the defense sword and go straight to town on Chaos, so that's what I consider an endgame sword, honestly. It may not be top 3, but it's right there at like number 4.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm not here to shame the defense sword for not being the Massa or the Vorpal, but it's, it has a dual function, which is none of the other swords can say they do.
Momo picking up her first rep.
Yeah, and the defense sword is definitely something you're going to have on your knight anyway, whether it's equipped or not, so... Yeah, Fizzle, Gregory did his pop grind all the way to about level 13, I think, before he dipped, so he's had decent levels basically the entire game.
Momo taking a moment to go back to Conarea and stock up on stuff by looks of it, grabbing those spell...
Yeah, you can't pass up Life 2 on that night. Life 2 and Fade on that night, that's full Paladin strats. Oh. And there's Gregory's Vorpal. Okay. And a Katana. Alright, so 2 in-game swords in the same room.
Knight equipping the game changer. We have ourselves a seed, everybody. As we run across the green Medusas that have plagued past runners in this tournament.
Absolutely. So Gregory's, I think he's got to go. I don't think he can check any more chests. This is a big match where these runners are 1 and 2. They both need this win, and you finally got a pair of swords that can get it done. You gotta burn it now.
Definitely, for sure.
But he's still checking chests. I don't know what he could be looking for.
Every check that Gregory does make is likely going to be putting Momo a little bit up. A little bit, I bet.
Yeah, he's leaving the door open for her, for sure. Maybe he's looking for that third ribbon. He's not confident in his defensive gear. I mean, he's got the white shirt, he's got the power bonk, he's got his knight and his ninja equipped with in-game swords. He's got gold bracelets on his mages. I think he just gotta go, man.
Gotta go, as Momo continues to do.
I would say you gotta go fast, but after that Sonic trailer dropped, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be associated with that franchise at all.
Honestly, I thought that trailer is pretty legendary, as Gregory is taking another fight that isn't exactly completely...
Yeah, I can see taking the fight. I mean, his ninja doesn't even have spell charges yet. The experience in Sky is great. I don't see checking chests anymore, but I would be taking every fight all the way up to Tiamat and maybe hoping for a War Mech. As we found an
Excalibur and the Pro Cape, too. And a Pro...
Yeah, wow. Yeah, Sky is where all of the swords were, apparently.
Mazdamin has definitely not been found yet, but a lot of great gear has, so... When do you go?
Yeah, I don't even think you can throw the Vorpal on the Red Mage, you throw the Excal on your Knight, you have the Ninja with Katana, and then you run with those until you get to Tiamat, and then you just switch the Vorpal to your Knight and just go ham. Get your I think it's 24 is the breakpoint for Vorpal before 32. Can one of the more veteran people check me on that?
Yep, 24.
I'm learning!
Hooray! Which, ironically, we haven't seen a Hooray Dwarf check from either runner, as they're both pretty...
I think Gregory did a Hooray Dwarf. Maybe. I think Gregory did. But I think he also triple dipped dwarves, so it could be confusing things. Momo's got her cube, and she is just about in go mode. She just needs to go to Mirage and find that key.
So we enter the Bridge of Destiny for Gregory. Both runners have picked up the Dragon Sword, so the robot is definitely summonable. So we're going to see what happens as we cross over to some Red Hydras. Gregory choosing to take the XP.
Thank you, Fizzle. It's 22 is the first breakpoint for the Vorpal, and then 32. 24 is Masa. And we got those Bless RNGs out there. It would be pretty amazing if there was that triple War Mech that Will Cleosis saw in that Tristal match. That would be amazing.
We already saw the Gurmedusa's not cutting anything in this particular seed, so triple War Mech would definitely be a thing, but Gregory's all the way halfway over the Bridge of Destiny. Momo completely gonna strike out on this particular ice cave check. She needs to get...
Robots would probably have more friends, Fizzle, if they had more than a water ruby in the... That's not how you make friends. I mean, except maybe with the Titan.
Titan appreciates all the treasure.
And we got the Bane strat. Poison
Bane strat connects.
Poison smoke. Fart takes it down with the poison smoke. Jesus.
You said it, not me, as Gregory has indeed finished Arab Temple and is ready to get going straight to Temple.
Yeah, this seed has proven to be quite fast for Gregory. And that early roadblock in Marsh is set Mo back probably about 20 minutes.
This is a little bit of an unusual play here. Gregory is actually going back to God.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
Momo finding her second ribbon. That's gotta make her feel good. She's definitely got a long...
Well, that's a smart play. Quad X was Red Wizard learnable, so it was a smart play for him to go back there and get it. He's probably got a couple charges of it, so...
Momo heading straight to Sky Tower.
Yep, so she's going to get her key. I would imagine she would full clear Mirage and Sky while she's here, just like she did with Ball. And Gregory with the flying that makes people dizzy.
Gregory, instead of going to Temple of Fiends, has chosen to go to Provoke and buy some more magic by looks of the film.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably going to pick up Saber for that ninja and Fade for his knight.
I think it's a smart play. It's not too far out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's an hour 25 in. You're ready to go to Topher. You probably feel pretty good about your time, so yeah, why not take an extra couple minutes, pick up these spells, make sure you're fully prepared for Topher instead of buying this diving Topher, hitting a brick wall, and then having to come all the way back up here to get this stuff. So might as well dive Topher fully prepped out. But he didn't get Saber, and I didn't see him pick up Heal 3 either. I think he just picked up the Fade.
With limited spell charges, you definitely want to consider what you buy carefully, since you may not always need it. I mean, you have plenty of money though, but it's still wasted magic.
Yeah, I mean it's still something, but I think because if you hit the brick wall in Topher, you can at least grind there, exit out, drop a house, and then you have 4 spell charges for those half casts.
So here, Mo is going to check the greater and less than room. She's going to find her second loose item, which was the key, and she's going to probably find the actual white shirt as well, so that's definitely going to be a confidence boost.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw Gregory Puff burn off 3 houses outside of Topher, and that was not for anything other than just getting his item list in order, so he only has to do a few inputs to get to those heal pots and just save a few more frames.
Saving the frames, saving the animals. Gregory is choosing to save the world, as Gregory is indeed going to be going into the lower levels here as soon as the Phantom gets...
And he's going to validate his run and find a max gold chest for him.
Hooray!
And a heal pot.
Momo grabbing her key, she's got to be feeling better about that.
Yep, so with that key find, Momo is now officially in Go. And Spells app in chat notes, there's our floater money in the validation chat.
Yes, indeed. A little bit late for that, but better late than never.
Yeah, if Mo guns it here, she could easily get through Tia, Kraken, and Carrie and get into Topher in the next 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how favorable the encounter table is.
Lord Fizzlebeat definitely reminding us that one wipe away could definitely put Momo straight back into this, so...
Yep, especially if it's something like a Slap Happy Kraken or Tia 2. And Mo's still checking chest though, so she must not be too confident with that defense.
So she's gonna find that the Sky Palace is actually gonna have a lot of decent gear here.
Yeah, especially if she goes to this room on the left and she'll pick up her Game Changer, she'll pick up her Katana, and I think that's got to be all you need if you're
Power Gauntlet, Vorpal Defense. Yeah, you gotta go on that knight at that point. You have a ribbon on him, so...
Yeah, and Fizzleby pointing out that Gregory's menuing getting a little wibbly wobbly. Maybe it's the nerves kicking in. I can definitely feel that. I know how that goes. It's an hour 30. You're fighting Lich too. You gotta be feeling good as Poop, Butt, and Mary and Fart are taking it to the Sparkly Pop-Tart.
Punching Bag, level 2, temper goes off. Not much in round 1. But Lich has crack.
That feels bad. Crack kills, man. It's important to remember that.
Ironically, the only one that crack actually killed was Mary, so there you go.
And Poop swinging that katana for 102 as Lich brings out Blizzard. Lich just wants to take it to Dairy Queen as Butt has 8 hits for 943 damage. Holy crap. That's a one-way.
Holy crap, nice one. As Gregory is officially down Lich 2 and is onto the fire.
Spells that pointing out butt crack. Nice. The Gregory's Puff party names are the gift that keep on.
Momo gonna skip the 3rd floor. She's not gonna find Excal, but she doesn't honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. She's not going to do it, but if she had checked the Elfland Armory and got the power bunk, that would have probably maybe addressed some of the gear concerns she might. But yeah, she's definitely going. She's running now. As we see Gregory on carry 2, defensing up with the white shirt, swinging away, getting the fast off, getting the tempered up. The Buns of Steel are coming.
The Buns of Steel. Here goes Carrie.
Carrie's
242 nude.
Yeah, Carrie's getting microwaved and stabbed. And Carrie is done.
Stick a fork in her. We're on to the earth. The water flare.
Blink and you missed it. Mo got basically a hero run across the Bridge of Destiny. We didn't even have time to get the Bless RNGs out there, and she's on Tia 1. And she's bringing it to him straight damage. No Bane strats there. She's looking to kill Tiamat the old-fashioned.
So Momo did pick up her Warp on the 1st floor of Sky, so she's... Yeah, that's why she stopped checking.
Yeah, she got the Vorpal, she got the Katana. She's in full-on go mode now.
Tiamat 1 bringing out Thunder. We didn't see that earlier.
Still going with the The old school strats, no Bane. Doesn't believe in the poison smoke. And Blaze comes out from Tiamat as Gregory Puff is on Kraken 2. He dropped the fighter down to the bottom slot, put Poop at the top, and here come the power bonks, here come the tempers, and we're gonna charge Bud up and we're gonna throw him at this squid.
Kraken dropping fast. Here we go. Gregory better move faster. Gregory's gonna get.
Yeah, this could be really bad. If Kraken smacks Poop. Ooh, no. Oh, 8 hits, 568 on Butt, and Butt falls to Kraken.
Say no to crack, kids, as we're down to 3 light warriors for Gregory, and it's not the 3 warriors that Gregory probably.
No, that feels really bad. Hitting Butt on the back row as Mo takes down Tiamat, and she is now 2 orbs in. She's coming for Sea Shrine and Volcano, and she's going to be right into toe for 2 as Gregory gets past Kraken with 1 light warrior. Fart standing strong with the life 2 is going to bring everybody up, and we're going to go 1 level deeper and see what Tia 2 has.
That was so fortunate it wasn't the Black Major. It would have been a total reset for Gregory, and it would have been a real demore.
Yeah, that's a reset. Absolutely, if Mary is the only one standing.
It's the Rock Golems, aka the Kool-Aid.
And same strats going on to Tia 2. We're fasting, we're tempering, we're power bonking, we're white shirting. And nuclear! Oh no! Low damage rolls though. Gregory Puff's party survives the first round. And you gotta start swinging if you're Butt. And swirl!
Gregory gets flushed, down goes Mary.
The wombo combo of Kraken and Tia are proven to be quite a roadblock, but that huge hit from the Vorpal changes Tia 2's game, and she takes a knee as Gregory Puff is headed down to K.
Gregory Puff indeed going past the Kool-Aid men, past a really nasty Tia 2, saying, "Oh yeah," going straight to the K. Busting through the.
Yeah, he kicked Tiamat back through the hole that the Rockles jumped through.
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
That's what I'm talking about, brother!
Alright, and here we go. At 1 hour 34 minutes, Gregory is pulling Chaos in white shirt. Temper. Fast. Fate. Oh, power block. Okay. We haven't seen Cure 4, we've seen Nuclear, we haven't seen any nukes. So, for all we know, Chaos could be loaded to bear. He punches Mary, drops her to 35 HP. She's on a knee. And we're continuing to tighten up those buns of steel, getting everybody easy to die. And Butt misses, and here comes Zap. Oh no.
Zap taking down the wonderful ninja, the wonderful black wizard. Down to 2 for wonderful.
Poop and Mary lost to the 4th dimension. Chaos is now trying to get everybody with lightning too. That's not going to do it. And there's the new. And Chaos has rolled very high evade. Butt has gotten 1 hit in. This is not.
This is indeed a Vorpal fight that we have on our hands, folks. Down goes the red wizard.
Ooh, oh man, this is going to be a fun end to this race. I can just feel it. Kraken is tough. Tia 2 is tough. Chaos is tough. We got 3 gatekeepers to get these orbs lit and save this.
Gregory saving outside of Temple of Fiends Revisited. Takes a second trip back inside. That was the wipe that Momo needed to get back into this. She's about to pull a Kira.
Yep, here comes Kraken 1 on Mo's side. Kraken 1 didn't prove to be that much of a hurdle for Gregory. I'm sure she'll just get right over and get right into the volcano, kill off Carrie, do her last minute shopping, and get into this.
Question in the chat. Invis 2 was pretty high level. I believe that was level 6, and I think it was in slot.
Yeah, I missed where Invis 2 was. But yeah, we definitely have the white shirt on both.
Momo having a little bit of trouble with Kraken 1.
Yeah, Kraken 1 proven to be the first gatekeeper, the little foreshadowing of his future self in the Temple of Fiends, or I guess his past self, if you want to get into the lore of the game. But Emmett takes it down.
Momo lights her second orb, gets the Red Wizard back up with the Life 2 charge from the Knight. Definitely a smart pickup.
Yeah, that's actually her third orb. All she's got left to do is to run down the volcano, punch Carrie in the face, and... Wait. I thought... Wait. Oh, she didn't do Earth. She half cleared Earth. That's my fault. I should have been paying better attention. She dove Earth without the rod, cleared the first 3 levels, exited it out, and then found the rod. So yeah, she's still got to go clean out Lich, but that shouldn't take too long.
Gregory taking the XP from the Grey Medusa.
It's a quick one. If they don't have the Death Touch or Blaze, something like we saw in that other match, like it's an easy XP for Mage 2, or with the Mage Staff could take that down. As Gregory pulls Lich 2 again, we'll see if this is a little bit different than the first time, or if Lich is just going to be that speed bump that he has proven to be.
Lightning 2 opens up, not much there. 3 hits, 77 damage from the actual...
Hoop and Butt combined, maybe 300 damage, 400 damage. But Lich didn't have too much HP, should go down this round. And just more Lightning 2s, so... And there it is, 8 hits, 470 from the Game Changer, takes down Lich. As Gregory finds himself on the fire floor for the second time. Carrie also not that dangerous. The first goes. As Mo's just making a tear through Earth Cave. She's already on the vampire floor. She's going to be on Lich and no.
She's not going to be that far behind Gregory.
No, if she'll be taking down Lich probably around the time that Gregory's walking to Kraken 2. And if he takes a wipe again, they're entering Topher at the same time, probably.
Gregory's race to win as Gregory takes the Grey Worms, nopes out of that, goes straight into Carrie.
And it looks like same strats, Temper and Fast Butt, and then White Shirt, and I missed Butt's inputs. I think he might be Power. Nope, he's swinging out the gate. Okay.
4 hits, 137. The Fast didn't go off until the last, though, so...
Yep,
a little bit on the...
Yep, he just tells Mary to wait, just kind of take a knee. Fart gets punched in the face and falls, but that's not too big of a threat. Butt can pick him back up after this fight as... Here come the hit. 8 hits, 314. Not enough. 3 hits, 180. That's enough to take it down. Carry 2 falls as Gregory Puff enters the water floor for the second time.
Not much scary on this water floor this time. That's definitely something that Gregory is going to be really, really happy.
And Mo is checking chests on Earth 4. I didn't see this coming.
Only thing left in play is the third ribbon, the Mazza, and maybe even the black shirt, but nothing to probably hear.
She doesn't have the power bong. We know that that's in the Elfland Armory, but she's not going to find it in Earth Cave. She could find the Masa, but she finds the Falchion.
Momo gets the Falcon Punch.
And Kraken fasted himself again. Oh no. He's got Mary in the top slot. Kraken didn't care last time. He still punched Butt in the face on that back row.
Gregory in a race against time here. Temper goes off. Invis 2 goes off.
6 hits, 242. That's not the big hit that we saw the Vorpal do. And here comes Nuke. Oh no.
Nuke tears through Gregory. Down goes the ninja. Down goes the red black.
Yeah, you gotta go now. You gotta hold A and pray. Get that Kraken down. You got your 2 life 2 casters. Pick those people back up. Man, not exactly gatekeepers, but Kraken 2, Tia 2, not proven to be pushovers at all.
Life 2 being one of the most powerful cure spells in the game, to be perfectly honest. You just can't use it in combat. That's the only...
And Mo picks up... Well, she's picking up Lich right now. She's gonna just tear apart this Pop-Tart. Yeah, or the toaster strudel, whatever you want to...
Looks like a blueberry flavored one.
I like blueberry Pop-Tarts. They're legit.
They're only delicious when they're warm, though, as Gregory is going to go ahead and pull Tiamat 2, which Tiamat 2 has quite a bit of surprises for him, but he already knows.
Yep, blink and you miss it. Lich 2's down. Mo lights her final orb at 142. She's going to be making her last few checks and diving into Topher in about a minute or two. Or no, she's just going to go right in. Oh, yeah, Mo is stepping on it.
93 heal potions, she's definitely in a solid position here.
Absolutely, I didn't realize that she had done her shopping before, and it was a veteran move to get your shopping done ahead of time.
Momo enters in at 142. She's, again, not too far behind.
Yep, if Gregory falls to Chaos again, Mo takes the lead.
Tiamat 2 was stunned.
And Tia 2 goes down again. And we'll see if Chaos proves to be the pain in the butt that he was the last.
We do know that Chaos does have high evade, does have some pretty nasty stuff in the pool. We still haven't seen Cure 4 or pretty much a whole ton of endgame stuff other than nukes and nukes.
But before Gregory can get to the Chaos, he's got to get through the Twilight fan.
It's the old midnight movie special as we are approaching 1 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yep, Gregory does some last minute healing and he pulls Chaos for the second time. He's going to do Fast, he's going to do White Shirt, he's going to do Temper, and he's going to Bomb. And too late, Chaos sends Mary and Poop back to the 4th dimension. No Fast, no White Shirt. Hold A and pray, buddy.
It's another power bonk off there. Fade charge goes off for 272. Chaos smacks the knight.
Yeah, that feels bad, especially without the defense sword. Your white shirt's gone. You gotta hold A and pray and just hope that Chaos doesn't have a ton of bait.
251 swing, second hit, 175. Only one hit though, so that high evade coming straight back in.
Yeah, that's 3 hits, 313 damage on Fart. Fart's on a knee, butt swinging that Vorpal and miss. This can't feel good for Gregory. And there's the nuke. Not again. Oh no. And Butt is down. And the great equalizer, Topher, has proven its namesake once again. As now Mo is in the lead. On the earth floor heading over to Lich. Gregory opts to just keep trying to truck through and hope he gets that RNG in his favor on that Chaos fight.
Speaking of movie parties with the vampires there. What a tweet! Momo about to pull. Let's do. Just a punching bag though, but he did have something pretty nice.
Yeah, he had a couple lightnings. Did he have crack? Or was... I think
that
he
was
had
indeed say no to crack.
Gregory storming past the Phantom. He's heading back down to the earth floor in just maybe about 30 seconds. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Who has the tenacity to push past Chaos's zaps, his nukes, and those fists he's got?
The only difference between Momo is not just the lead in the actual floor itself, but Momo doesn't have any knowledge of what's in here yet. Gregley has seen everything in here pretty much twice over now, so that's definitely a knowledge advantage for Gregley.
Yep, but as folks in chat like Fizzlebeef are pointing out, Mo does have the defense sword, which might help. It's not going to help against those nukes, but it'll help when the white shirt caster gets dropped. Your knight will at least still be able to avoid those punches. Germ-Medusas are staring at Gregley Puff's butt, and they're damaging it just a little bit.
I think the moral of the story in this race is you said it, not me.
That's fair. I'll step on these landmines all day for us. And Mo is on Lich 2. Lightning 2 comes out. Here come the swings from the katana as Gregley Puff is on Lich 2. We got synchronization. Temper's Fire 2 coming out from Falconic to Black Mage, or Black Wizard on Mo's side. Gregley sticking with those fast Temper white shirt strats and just swinging away. And there's the crack from Lich. Isaac and Falconic go down. We got Emmett and Nugget left trying to take down Lich 2. And Lich 2 rolled much higher HP than I realized, as Butt hit it for over 650 damage and Lich 2 was standing, as both heroes make it through that fight and are onto the fire.
Only level 20 for Momo's heroes here. She's definitely rolling the dice here tonight. But with the position she's in, I don't blame her in the slightest.
Yeah, she's got it. You can't hold anything back at this point. And I think, Fizzle, Gregley has a little bit better knowledge of the encounter table. We've seen him burning off encounters with resets and stuff. Like, he knows where those hero runs are. And I don't think we're on the same encounter table right now between Mo and Gregley.
Indeed not, as the Red Giant Nagamush.
Yep, and Gregley's doing those same strats on Carry 2, the fast Temper, white shirt, stat, and Carry 2 won't be long for this realm once again.
Ironically, Carry 2 actually the weakest of the four, as that Lich was actually quite different than being a punching bag.
Yeah, he probably rolled close to 1,000 HP, and with that crack, you know, it's not going to wipe the party, but it's going to burn those resources. It's going to make it a little bit tougher if you get a nasty crack, and if you get that nasty T. Or if Carry 2 pulls something out on Mo's side. We haven't seen a whole lot from Carry 2, but doesn't mean that she's not sitting on top of a tornado or something like that.
This seed was definitely some nasty crack indeed, as Momo has officially pulled Carry 2, as Gregley is not too far.
Yep, Gregley's running from everything on the seafloor. No one's I was gonna say, to answer Shadow Walker's question, have we tested the gas Ds? We've seen them, but we've ran.
Gregley getting ready to pull Kraken 2. We know Kraken 2's opening move is fast and then swing for the fences, so this is a speed run here, folks.
So if you're Gregley Puff and you don't get through Chaos here, this will be your third wipe. How do you adjust, Lyra? How do you adjust if you're Gregley?
I think the comments from Lord Fizzlebeef there definitely grab a few levels inside Topher and then warp or exit out of there. There goes the Black Wizard again, as Kraken just didn't really care for fastest.
Yep, at least Kraken's targeting the top row and not the back row. When first go through, we saw Kraken fast and then just punch the knight on that back row and just drop him in one.
There's the fast from Kraken. Vorpal swing, 5 hits, 576. Down goes Kraken 2.
That was our best Kraken 2 fight for sure. Only one life 2 needed to be burned, as Gregley Puff is on to Tia 2. And Mo is prepping for her encounter with Kraken 2, and she's going to get the knowledge that Kraken likes to hit people, like, really hard. He's an abusive person.
I'm about to get Crack-a-lack in here, because Tiamat 2 is about ready to come back.
And Gregley Puff getting trolled by the worms right before Tia 2. They're just going to make him eat 3 more heal. Kraken fasting on Mo's side, and let's see how she adjusts to that news. defense sword coming out from Emmett. And here come the nuke. Meanwhile, Tiamat, is that Vanilla Bane?
Momo smashes through Kraken 2.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. Kraken 2 proving to be speed bump 3 for Mo. She is just trucking through this Topher rank.
Fire 3 from Tiamat, nothing special there. 4 hits 213. We got a nuke going off. Nuke goes for 135, low rolls. Tiamat 2 doesn't down anybody on that particular run though. Another nuke going off, 194, down.
Tiamat is down on Gregley's side, and here comes the Bane on Mo's side.
I believe we just saw the loop play some beautiful music right there. That's actually something we haven't seen.
It's important for morale for the troops to do a little, hey, we just had a tough fight. Let's center ourselves, talk about what we learned, listen to some music, and get ready for this dive against Chaos, the ultimate fiend.
Momo low damage rolling against Tiamat 2, even with the temper charges and everything. Lightning 2 goes off, nothing special there. Fast goes off once again. Here we go. Gets the min.
That feels bad. Here comes Chaos 3 on Gregley Puff's side. We got nukes, we got fades. He's going all out offense right now. He's not buffing up. He just says, I'm going to burn through you before you zap away my...
Look at the party order for Gregley, though, taking huge gambles with the fighter being in the top slot. There goes the zap. Down goes the...
And here comes MoistMogwai on her first Topher dive, coming in maybe 10 minutes after she walked in the door. She's going to be approaching the Chaos floor, and she's going to get the news that Chaos is proving every bit to be the ultimate fiend. Gregley, 2 hits, 227, and then the nuke. Oh no. And he got
terminated!
Butt on a knee. Wow. GG, Gregley Puff. Wow. So, let's see how Mo reacts to this Chaos fight. Defense up again. Here comes, what's she gonna do? Nuke. She's gonna... Alright, so it looks like she's got enough evasion to avoid the physical assaults from Chaos, but he's still sitting on that nuke. He's still sitting on... He's probably gonna punch the red mage at some point. Yeah.
Lightning 2, Momo lucks out on that one. Fade for 96, nothing there. Miss from the fight.
Yep, so Mo gets the news that Chaos has very high evasion. She's got to hope for those. Fade for 90. One critical hit for 74 damage. That's not going to be enough to do it. You got to hold and pray here and hope that one of these, this Vorpal can break through.
Official time for Gregley, 1 hour, 53 minutes, 25 seconds. Congratulations, GG. Oh my.
There's a big hit. 3 hits, 194. Not the biggest hit that we've seen, but definitely better than 74. Chaos just sort of toying with Mo here, not throwing out nowhere near as nasty the stuff that we saw and throw out to... And there's the nuke. It looks like Mo's got to be hold and pray here. Maybe catch Chaos in a RNG loop, but you don't want that RNG loop to be both parties missing. 2 hits, 120.
Time loop.
Yeah, 2,000-year time loop of Chaos and Emmett just missing. And there it is. MoistMogwai, GG. You get Chaos on your first dip. Wow. Wow.
Momo with the official time of 1:55.27. Such a close race between these two. Definitely throw your GGs out. Show them some love. Oh my god.
Yeah, GG Mo. Way to come in there, get it done on your first dip. Yeah, that's wow. Good race. So we're gonna try to bring some of these people into the chat here, get their thoughts on.
Stand by on that as we see our lovely the end screen as we have exited the 2,000-year loop and saved.
2 hours, 2 seconds separate these runners, and just MoistMogwai showing you how to get it done. If you ever thought that she was really that far behind, I know at some point I said that she was probably about 20 minutes behind at certain points, and she just showed you how important Topher can be.
2 minutes feeling like 2 hours once you see that dot done go off right in the middle of your chaos fight. Oof.
Yeah,
We're still working on getting both of them in here, so stand by on.
Yep.
Our wonderful tracker tonight, Nova, noting, yes, the Vorpal was the only thing that actually saved both of these runners, so it definitely hit more than...
Yep, Vorpal was definitely the game changer here. It was definitely necessary. Because Masa would have been nice, but I don't know if Masa would have been as effective in that chaos fight.
Alright, as we're waiting on invites here, just wanted to thank you all for coming in tonight. This has been quite an adventure. It's been an honor and a pleasure for you all. What a race, Caleb, what a race.
Yeah, this was pretty intense. We had what we thought was a jet seat early on, which turned into a nightmare Topher for Gregly. And speaking of, GG, Gregly, GG.
Oh my god, thank you. GG's.
So what were your thoughts on that seed, man?
I mean, everything was going fine until that Topher, and I was like, what is all this? Why is this Chaos being the way he's got to be? I don't like this. I want Chaos to be hit by my sword attacks and tempers and fasts and all that fun stuff and just go wacky and then eventually die. And he was like, nah, you're gonna swing with fast and a bunch of tempers and miss me.
Yep, and we see we have Mo joining us right now. GG Mo. That was a heartbreaker to watch.
Thank you. I feel like if Marsh didn't hate me as much as it was, that might have been whatever the difference between what he saw and my first run through Topher.
Absolutely. It was 2 minutes, 2 seconds that separated you guys. And there was a moment during this race, Mo, where I called that you were probably 20 minutes behind because of the struggles that you had in Marsh that Gregly didn't really see. Because Gregly did a pop grind for about 15 minutes, Gregly? Is that about right?
That sounds about right. I didn't have enough houses, so I had to go back to Canaria to buy some houses, and then go back and do some pop grinding. But I really wanted that floater. I knew there was. I didn't know, but I felt like it was an improbable situation that I was going to find enough money in Marsh to buy that floater. So
yeah, I was hoping for the Marsh money play, and without any way to get to the floater, I felt that the seed was telling me you're going to be back later. So yeah. I did a small pop grind for I think a level or two and left. Feel like that probably bit me in the ass, but it's really that Marsh. I don't know what it is with Marsh and me, but it loves to haunt me. It's a seed after seed.
Yeah, luckily I was like way over leveled by the time I made it to Marsh, because it took, as they said, a very long time to put together that 58k to buy that floater, which obviously, the ship was in Marsh, so it worked. Yeah. Gosh darn rock that makes airships float out of deserts. Why do they have to cost so much?
So we saw after you guys hit go mode, you were still looking for chests, and Lyra and I in the chat, we were all kind of agreeing that you guys had the stuff that you basically needed. So what kind of stuff were you guys looking for in those last-ditch chest checks?
Do you want to go on ahead, or do you want me to do?
I think the only place I really checked at that point was Sky. Because at that point I found in Sky the white shirt, the key, the vorpal, the katana. I was hoping to maybe find a Mazmoon for my red mage, so if chests were like directly in the way, I would check them. And I also didn't have power bonk, but I also had plenty of tempers. So I feel like I didn't check too many out of the way chests once I knew I had my 2 loose and I was in go mode, but up
Yeah,
until go mode.
I
you
think
know.
the only chests you check mode that were out of the way were those Earth 4 chests
Yeah.
on your way to Lit.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat as Mo. I mean, I was looking for just anything better than the Sun Sword at that moment, which I don't remember exactly where I found the Sun Sword, but I did have it. And I was hoping to find well, I ended up finding Excal, of course, after I found Vorpal, but I found Vorpal, I found Katana, white shirt, like she said, found that. And mostly gear, like armor. Like I had 2 ribbons, but I didn't have like any of the ice, any of the flame armor. I sold off my opal armor to try to, afford that floater. So I didn't have dragon armor. I didn't have Aegis shield. I needed I wanted a little bit better tanky gear instead of just gold bracelets, which I ended up just buying anyway.
That silver until the wheels fell off.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't find an opal bracelet. I think I found 1 gold bracelet and bought the other ones. And I'm pretty sure my ninja still had iron armor at one point when we, not at one point, but in Topher. But it was, like she said, I was looking for something a little bit better than the Sun Sword and just better armor.
Yeah, I want to say my knight finished maybe with iron armor on. And my ninja had the ice. I sold the flame armor. I needed money. It was a fire sale. Everything must go. I wanted that floater. So I did mono strats.
I think the biggest difference in the gear because you guys basically followed the same sort of routes. I think the only real divergence was Mo, you cleared out a little bit more in the volcano and found the defense sword, and Gregory, you cleared out a little bit more of the key lock chest, and that gave you the power bomb.
Yeah, that was kind of my deal, and I'm sure you guys chat was probably flipping out when I just exited out with the key and was like, I'm going to check these chests. I view it at that point, I'm in go mode, and while I felt confident on my levels, so I could have easily gone up there and full cleared Earth, but I thought it would be a quicker move to check those free chests in the key locked areas and maybe find something and just do something different, do something that nobody would think to do, which is why I chose to do that. And obviously Power Bonk was the only thing that really came out of that whole dive, but I was hoping to find like Massa or something like that, and then not have to quite do too much clearing in Sky, which obviously I still had to check some chests, and luckily I went left, because left is always the way to go.
Absolutely.
And I went left and found Vorpal and Katana, so I felt a little more confident once I found those 2 weapons, and of course I had the white shirt. And I knew Invis 2 was somewhere, but I could not remember where it was, and I was not
I couldn't either.
I was not searching all the cities to try to figure out where it was. I think it might have been. I don't remember.
I think it was in Melmont. I think that's what we talked about.
That's right, because I never went back to Melmont after I did the slab turn, and I looked at the spells and was like, nah.
Yeah, I think I used its N once and then never saw it again.
So Mo, I want to get your thoughts real quick, Mo. You made the gamble. You dove Earth. We've seen a lot of the seeds pointing to value being an Earth cave. You dove Earth without the rod, and unfortunately didn't find anything. What was your thought process when you walked out of Earth?
Very simply, when I went into Earth, I wanted money. When I went in there, I knew that I'd bashed my head against Marsh, and my play was to find money to quickly catch myself back up. Hollow Giants was pretty favorable, but I was thinking maybe I could find a loose item here and save more time, because most people don't dive Earth, so in my head I was like, I'll find a loose item here, I'll get money, I'll go to my floater, and I'll be a little bit more ahead of where Gregory might be if he didn't take that not needed gamble at that point. And when I left it, I knew I left behind. So, as far as me picking up gear and things that I wanted, I played more fast and loose once I found the white shirt. I knew I had plenty of temper, so I didn't really need it. And then really when I found that defense sword, I felt comfortable. I mean, armor wasn't where people would want it. I had 2 ribbons, so I knew at least I could keep 2 casters alive. Magic was pretty favorable for us. So not a comfortable feeling, but I need to go. I need to find my loose items and I need to go.
Right.
I assume. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I assume that defense was located on the floor right before Carrie in the top left-hand room, because I feel like that's the only room I didn't check.
I want to say it was Volcano and... Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn,
I think that's where it was.
And I almost went into that room and I was like, I need to go.
I saw that and I was like, that's half the puzzle. If I find white shirt, I'm not checking anything else, because we had tempers for days, thankfully, in this seed. So I was like, if I don't find Power Bunk, don't care. I need a reasonable ice sword or sun sword, which we found in Volcano as well, and I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Give me a white shirt and we're gonna go flail at Chaos.
Yeah, I feel like defense was like the difference between wiping twice on Chaos. If I could have put things onto my knight, but I realized once he was Captain Dodgerton that the second time through I didn't go with the strat that I had thought of and devised in my head leading into it. But then the third time I went and I was like, you know what? I have all these nuke and fade charges. I'm just going to throw them at him and I'm going to pray. And RNG worked out for me-ish. But I won. I mean, obviously I killed him at some point, but
I think I finished Chaos with 2 people. It wasn't the prettiest finish by any means, but
neither was mine.
We dragged that ninja and black mage across the line.
Gregory, if you had because when you took down Chaos, your knight Butt had 56 HP left. If Butt fell in that fight, would you have stayed in Topher, or were you going to dip and grind? Because that would have been the third wipe he took.
I would have, I'm not sure what I would have done. I might have lost my mind over here, and I was already kind of losing my mind, in Georgia. It was tough. I was not happy about taking those wipes. I'm not sure what I would have done. I felt like my levels were right. I felt like I just needed good RNG. And yeah, I mean, maybe gaining levels would have been fine, but I just don't really see that levels were going to do anything with that high evade. He was just dodging everything. Like, yeah, I wouldn't have known I wouldn't have known what else to do. I was getting through the Fiends just fine-ish.
Fine-ish is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Kraken 2, Tia 2. Look, they had some nasty tricks up their sleeve. They were luckily low evade, low absorb, so they went down quickly, but fine-ish. Good way to put it. I'm sorry, Lyra. I've been talking this whole time. I'm sure you have thoughts that you want to share to us, so I'm going to shut up now.
You are the podcaster broadcaster. You have the voice of the angels. Good, Caleb. First of all, Gregory, congratulations. Here we are again a couple weeks later.
Oh, thank you.
Something that I was actually a little bit concerned on was how best to put this. What were you thinking exactly when you went back to Gaia a second time? Because that almost bit you in the butt with how close this was.
I wanted those quad X's. I thought maybe they would be Quad X, as Lord Fizzlebeef says, is the best spell in the game. And I had some level 7 charges, and I thought if things got crazy and got a little, like I need to throw some Quad X's out, I would at least have Quad X in my back pocket. Yes, I know it took me like at least a minute or so to get down there and get back up, but it was just, it's one of those spells I kind of have a hard time passing up.
That totally makes sense. Again, it almost got you, but it really didn't. And it's better to have it and not need it than need it.
Absolutely. I mean, I could have easily been in a situation where, I was almost in that situation in the first Kraken 2 battle where he literally was like, hey, I see you in that back row back there. I know I only have like a 1 in 25 chance to hit you, but I'm going to go on ahead and one-shot you. And then I was like, how am I going to get through this Kraken? This is not good. So, obviously the Quad X didn't end up being a thing I needed to use there, but it could have been a situation where I might have needed to pull out a Hail Mary Quad X to get through that battle.
One of the things that I saw was a little bit nerve-wracking for us on the field was you didn't exactly arrange your party in like a crazy optimal way as most people would see it. That chaos the third time was like Oh gosh, we know Zap's gonna go off super quick, but were you thinking you were gonna get punched in the face with having the fighter up higher than the red mage?
That's what I was hoping for, actually. So what I went for into that final battle was that I actually was hoping. I was like, well, if for whatever reason he goes ability happy, which I didn't see any abilities, so I'm assuming that just was something that wasn't going to happen. He decided to go punch happy before throwing out that first zap. That he would, beat up on my knight, which my knight wasn't doing anything. My knight was missing. My knight was couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, as older people like myself would say. And so I was like, I'm going to throw just fades and nukes at him. And worst case scenario, he's going to beat up my knight, which is not going to do anything because he's only got one fade charge anyway. And I was just going to throw a bunch of nukes out. And luckily, it ended up working out for me in that final one.
That's all it takes is one more nuke charge.
Well, GG to both of you. Gregory, you move on to 2-2 going into the final week. Mo, you move on to 1-3. It's I'm expecting to match up with you next week, as we both are likely be 1. Any final thoughts on this seed and the tournament moving forward?
It's just Swiss being Swiss. I mean, there's little things that can really make the difference among just routing and being a good player. Obviously, Greg Lee's a great player. I don't want to downplay that whatsoever, so I'm not saying that. But I know going into this and the force that we had this week, it was a pretty clear party for a lot of people. And it's just little time wasters that can really cost you the difference. And obviously, he was way ahead of me. He had the third try in Topher before he finally finished. And I happened to get through my first time. I just, you really have to watch yourself back and learn from little things, but there's some times where it's just like, I don't know what else I could have done here other than just wipe, reset. So I guess my thoughts going into next week and maybe even being paired with you, Caleb, is just, I don't know, maybe branching out a little bit, doing plays that I think don't make sense. Maybe I'm going to gamble a little bit in my second half here and just really try and make that play in and see if I can make it to the brackets.
Well, I'm pulling for you, Mo. I'd rather see you get in there than I get in there. Gregory, you got final thoughts on this seed in the tournament, man, moving into the final week?
Well, I'm just happy that I'm 2-2. Obviously, awesome. Thank you so much, Caleb and Lyra, for running the comms on this. Thank you, Speed Gaming 4, for having us. Thank you for those of you that decided to watch us versus any of the other Final Fantasy Randomizer races that are currently happening at this particular moment, including Edge versus Minucci, which I'm sure is pretty stellar. People crap all over the pop grind, but that was a moment where the pop grind made the most sense to me. And even though I did a lot of kind of wasting time buying houses, going back up there and doing all that stuff, getting those extra levels obviously meant a difference between taking a crap ton of wipes and Marsh. So, if there's an item right there, pop grind is the only time it makes sense. But, other than that, I look forward to seeing who I take on in the 2-2.
As one of those people that crapped on your pop grind, man, I'm eating humble pie right now. GG win.
70% of the time it doesn't make sense, but that 30, man, you come through.
Yep.
So Momo.
You were probably like, what is he doing? And by the way, GG, Mo. I mean, it's been an honor to play against you. I mean, you have really helped me grow into the player that I am with all the things that you did to help my particular class of ducklings do what we do. So it has been an honor to play against you. I can't believe I won by the 2-ish minutes because you're pretty awesome. So it was really a good race.
Thank you. GG to you as well. I don't think I got to say it to you when we jumped in the booth. Your class of ducklings has been an absolute joy to watch, outside of the Tarnins and the Shadow Walkers that came in here and it just strong armed everybody aside. I was like, I want to play. So, I mean, this class and people like you that are just absolutely dominating or being a very strong presence is super awesome to watch. And I'm no stranger to saying I'm a better backseat driver than I am a player. So just to come within, a couple minutes of Shadow and almost beating him, even though I caught him on a very off day, and then coming within a couple, minute or and a half, 2 minutes with you. It feels good because I don't play as often as I should, and it's good to get out there every once in a while because it's a really fun game. Even when you lose, it's a fun game. Even if you don't like competition, there's casual players in this community. It's a really great time. But to finally play my first tournament and get to play against a lot of the people that I helped learn the game or train to the randomizer, it's a pretty fun experience.
So one of the final things that I'm thinking about, Momo, Gregory, I hope you guys watch this one back and see how often Gregory's party names made us giggle, because that was just quite the adventure. There's going to be a lot of clips that I didn't see get made tonight that will probably get made in the future about that, and almost all of them were for Caleb, so
I
hope you all
heard
get
the
to watch
name
that one.
But what was your party names, Greg?
Okay,
And why were
so-
they Butt?
So I was setting up a party, and I meant to do this earlier, and I wish you guys had asked about it then. But when I was getting set up for the week, I had asked my 5-year-old daughter. I was like, "What should I name my party?" And she goes, "Daddy, you should name your party Butt, Fart, Poop, and Mary." And they were all 4-letter names, and I was like,
Done.
"Well, yeah, of course I should. Fart, Butt, Poop, and Mary. That's like brilliant. You are a smart child. I love you." And so that is the names I chose for my characters.
Very cute and endearing. I didn't ask any about my party this week. Usually I name it after people that I really like in the community and love spending time with. But this week I decided to do my 3 dogs and my husband's name.
Aw.
And I felt kind of bad because I left one of my dog names napping for a little bit. But, he was just lazy a little bit. He came back to life and he was useful.
That's okay. Gregory had a stone poop for a while. He also had a lot of poison smokes coming from fart.
Oh, okay, that's very fitting then. I'm not even.
That's why
mad
this
at
is
that
something to watch
point.
back.
It's A+ stuff. And then there was all the times that Lich threw butt in the crap.
Oh my! I don't know if I can handle that. I might.
This is
stuff.
something that both Twitch and YouTube are going to have access to later on. We're going to have some memories from this seed.
But that's
I want
also
to.
something his daughter can watch back too, so that's fun.
I want to go ahead and give thanks to Speed Gaming for hosting us tonight. Thanks to the fans, to our tracker who was Nova, which was pretty solid.
Yeah,
And Caleb, please go ahead and take us to bed so we can go watch the wonderful midnight special coming up.
All right, thank you, Lyra. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Speed Gaming. Thank you to Gregory and Mo for putting on a show for us, and thank you, Hypes Nova, for doing the tracking. Thank you for all the people in the chat coming out, representing, showing your love for the community. We have Midnight Special 3 coming up on Speed Gaming. It is Czar versus Lord of the Scent, if I believe. Is that right? I'm just doing that off the top of my head. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Zara versus Lord of the Synth. I'm pretty sure those are the 2 that are playing.
Awesome. So if you're a night owl, you want to keep watching, go ahead and keep watching. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thank you all for coming out.
Yeah, pretty sure that starts in 7 minutes or something.
Yep.
So thank you, Speed Gaming. Thank you, Caleb. Brainfeeds Caleb. He has a podcast. Go listen to it. It's awesome. Thank you, Lyra, for coming out tonight, and Hypes Nova for doing the tracking, and Greg Lee, of course, for being my opponent. I appreciate you all, and late nights are fun when you get to spend it with people like this. So, thank you all.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.